We even had a zoo in the palace. I think we also had a chimpanzee.
Wow!
Who famously used to smoke a cigarette.
Seriously? He's a little wary of other dogs.
He is, but actually speaking, he's a Mawali Gunda.
In this episode, we'll explore what holistic pet care truly means, how it goes beyond just treating illness, and why prevention is the most powerful form of protection. Today we have Shriya Pilgaonkar, an actor who lives with her one-eyed super dog Jack, who's here with us, but right now he's feeling a little shy. So maybe by the end of the episode, we'll be able to introduce you to Jack. Till then, we're giving him his space. Along with her, we have Mr. Pratapsinh Gaekwad, who brings together his rich heritage and a forward-thinking vision to improve the lives of pets and pet parents across the country. He started Crown Vet in 2016 with a clear mission to raise the standard of veterinary care in India. Let me start with you. Can I call you Pratap?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on your show.
My pleasure, and I'm so looking forward to this conversation. And even when I was having this conversation with Shriya, she was like, even I want to know so much. We are pet parents, and we are really looking forward to the insights from you because we all understand the importance of holistic healing, preventive work. I mean, it cannot be underlined enough. But let me start from, before we go into that, let me start from where it began. Can I say you are used to living in palaces, lot of space. So as a child growing up, how many animals did you have around you?
We had many animals. My uncle founded the World Wildlife Fund in India,
name?
Maharaja Fateh Singh Rao Gaekwad.
Wow.
He was a wildlife conservationist in the 70s and 80s. So wildlife has, sort of been part of our life since we were growing up. In fact, in Baroda, when we were young, we even had a zoo in the palace. So we had crocodiles, we had alligators, we had wild boar, and I think we also had a chimpanzee
Wow!
who famously used to smoke a cigarette.
Seriously?
Yes.
Really cool.
Some
one.
place to grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the sort of, background that I grew up in. And, we've always been close to wildlife, always had pets at home as well.
So I want to know if you had pets at home, dogs and cats?
No,
Birds?
it's always been dogs. We did have birds. There were some parrots that came into our lives, but it was predominantly dogs.
Everybody knows that it's your passion and how much you love dogs, and there's a beautiful story of your dog Chevy and how you started Crown Vet, and I really think our listeners would love to hear that story.
So like in many things, this Crown Vet started through a personal experience I had. At that time, I had Chevy, who was a Great Dane.
How old was Chevy at that time?
Not a puppy, but he was a couple of years old. And through that process, I mean, we used to go to the vets, etc. The routine stuff was always fine. The vets were good. But, we used to always sort of struggle even years before that what happened when, the vet was closed. And in those days, 10 years ago, there weren't many practices that were open at night. And as things would happen.
There were none.
Yeah, there were none.
Yeah.
There were none at that time. And always, there used to always be an issue that happened at night, and you were frantically trying to call the vet, and it was
I
difficult.
think that's a nightmare every pet parent has
Absolutely.
been through.
Absolutely.
So those were the situations at that time, and then there was this sort of perfect storm that hit. Was when Chevy was still unwell. He went through a surgery, and everything was fine. The surgery was performed well. Everything was fine, but post-op care was not available because the clinic shut at night. So we had to sort of physically carry him home, and I was literally having to play the role of a nurse during the night. And that's when it sort of dawned upon me that, something can be done better in this sort of situation. And that's how the idea of, getting into veterinary care really started.
What year was this, if I may ask?
This was in 2016.
Not
Yeah.
too long.
No,
Yeah,
it was not too
almost
long
10.
ago, but
But still,
literally at that
yeah.
point in 2016, I remember there was
nothing,
no 24-hour facility,
Right.
and you couldn't get these MRIs and ultrasounds and X-rays done because you had to wait for the human facility to kind of end and then do it. So 2016 was a tough time, I remember.
It was tough time, and so therefore, one of the things was that we needed to start the 24-hour facility,
Right.
which, as it is, it's a hard sort of service to provide, because it means that the doctors have to be available to do duties at night, etc. So we did struggle through it. But I'm happy to say that today we're sort of 10 clinics down the road, and at the moment I think about 8 of them are already 24 hours, open for 24 hours.
fantastic.
So yeah.
Yeah. Shriya, tell me about your super one-eyed
Oh.
dog.
Well,
Jack.
I wish he was here right now. We've
He is
given
there.
Jack space to just relax. He's Jack the Curious, as we call him.
Okay.
So about 10 years ago, I was volunteering for the animal welfare NGO World for All. I'm sure everybody's heard
Yeah,
of them,
yeah.
and they do these adoption camps. And so before that, I had a German Shepherd, Hobo.
Okay.
Beautiful. He was a horse.
Yeah.
Like, purebred German Shepherds are like gigantic, you know.
They are, and they're so
Royal, they're regal.
Handsome.
Very handsome. So his name was Hobo. Unfortunately, he passed away at the age of 8. He had a tumor, and luckily we caught on the sign. But fatigue is such a big sign which often people overlook.
Yeah.
And this is something we realized. That was the first dog we had. Strangely, all of his siblings in other homes also passed away at the age of 8.
That means it was a genetic thing.
Maybe it was what it was, but after that we decided that we want to adopt, and it's not something that we had pre-planned. But when I was at that adopt-a-thon, I realized that the dogs which had little cute pink bows and who were like much younger puppies were all being
getting
taken,
adopted.
all getting adopted. The breed dogs were getting adopted, and then there was one table with a dog with no eye, dog with no leg, a dog with like a cut ear. And nobody was really looking at them, and somehow my eye went to this black and white dog who was giving Dalmatian vibes, but very handsome. And they said his name is Tom, and his brother's name was Jerry, but his brother had passed away. And I asked them, I said, how did he lose his eye? And they said that when he was really young, he was moving from foster to foster home, and accidentally while playing with a dog, his eye got scratched out. So
Is that why he's so, he's a little wary of other dogs?
He is, but actually speaking, he's a Mawali Gunda. In other space, he'll take his time, but he's actually super friendly. But there
He
is
knows
a
you're
yes.
talking
Hi, Jack.
about
I'm
you.
talking about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't adopt him that day. I went back home and I told my mom about him, and I wrote his name in my diary.
Yeah.
He actually, it's funny. Sometimes when I'm anxious, he catches on to that. So if I am
they
scared,
all do always.
exactly.
And if you're going to be scared,
Exactly. So yeah, so when there was round 2 of the adopt-a-thon of all the remaining dogs,
He was
Bichara,
there.
he was there, we got him. And I can't tell you, it felt like it was truly meant to be, because he settled in so beautifully. So yeah, Jack is 10 years old. He's been with us for 10 years now. And I'm so happy we adopted him.
And he found a beautiful home.
Oh, he's my heart, and he's my roommate.
Yeah.
And his bed occupies more space on my bed. So basically, I get the corner and he gets all
But
of
of
my
course, all pet parents
Yeah.
is that they have the corners, and they have the pets have the most important place in it.
bed. Shall I try to see if he wants to sit up? He won't
Yeah.
do anything. Up. He loves to sit on the couch. Up.
Yeah, sit down. Sit down, Jack. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. He's actually letting me touch him for the first time after he's come. So I'm enjoying
And
that.
you know
bit.
what? That's a big compliment to you. And I also think because your energy is calming. Dogs, I mean, I'm sure you and your experience can tell us more about how dogs read energy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think if you're calm, if the owner is calm, then that automatically sort of translates.
But tell me, who was your favorite pet amongst all these animals that you had?
I think it must be Chevy, for sure.
Yeah.
He got me to do this as well.
Yes.
Crown Vet wouldn't have happened.
This is
Wasn't for
Crown
him.
Vet, I would say, is Chevy's legacy.
Absolutely. The logo of Crown Vet is actually Chevy's face.
Oh, yeah, on the crown. Oh, that's so beautiful. How old was Chevy when you lost him?
He was 14 years old, so he lived a very long and fairly
That's
healthy
a
life.
very long life. Great Danes,
Touch
that's
wood,
a
Baba.
double
Yeah.
life, literally. So what is it that you did with Chevy, which is what you must be practicing at Crown Vet now,
I
that
think-
gave him this kind of a lifespan?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a whole host of things. Nothing specific, but yes, we were careful with his diet. We made sure that he got the exercise that he needed. there was a lot of love and affection, as you were mentioning, sleeping in the bed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were times when I used to start in the middle of the bed and gradually wake up in the middle of the
You
night.
on the bed would be like
on the edge.
Massive, yeah.
And then I got married.
And
So
then?
then Chevy would sleep in the middle and my wife and me would be gradually pushed to either side.
What was your wife's reaction to Chevy?
No, she absolutely loved him.
Yeah?
And they both loved each other actually quite a lot. I mean, he was our first dog.
Baby.
Yeah, yeah. And for a long time we didn't have children actually. So we were quite late. We had COVID kids, as they call
And now
them.
you have a 3.5-year-old and a
Yeah, and a 5-year-old
5-year-old.
daughter.
So, on holistic care, what is it that you do at Crown Vet, which is definitely you have your MRIs, your ultrasound, all your facilities are fabulous, you have the vets. What is it in holistic care that you do at Crown Vet, which I would not get at a normal veterinarian clinic?
Yeah, see, in Crown Vet, you know, there are two things that we really believe in. One is training. I can tell you more about that. We do a lot of training for our veterinarians, for our front of house. See, the Indian education, the veterinary education system is primarily sort of focused on large animals.
Yes, I've heard this
You know?
before. It's for all the working animals like your
Animal
horses and
husbandry.
cows and
Right.
goats. Animal husbandry, actually.
Correct.
Yeah.
So a lot of the, you know, education is sort of built around that. As a result, you know, doctors coming into private practice, while they have a lot of sort of information from books and things that they study, but they don't have much practical experience. Now I'm talking obviously about the young graduates that
Right.
sort of finish from university. So when you put them into a private practice scenario, they're kind of lost. You know, they don't know what where is.
Yeah.
Uh,
And actually, in a private practice, especially with smaller animals, you have to deal with the parents more than not just the
Absolutely.
animals.
Absolutely. So you know that's the vital ingredients, and most doctors have become veterinarians have become vets because they like animals,
Right.
not because they like human beings, right? So you know,
So you train their bedside manner,
I
so
mean,
to say.
we need to, you know, because that's a very important part of running this business, right? Is to address the pet parent, and that actually takes a lot of time.
So how do you train them?
We've been doing this for a long time. In the past, you know, we've sent our vets to Dubai. They worked there for 3 months, purely training. We sent our vets to Singapore. You know, we've got a partner now, a foreign partner, so we sent our vets to Singapore for 2 months. Then the senior vets that we have, one senior vet I sent to France, in Rennes, where he did orthopedic training.
Oh.
2 doctors I sent to Italy, where they studied medicine for 2 months at Navarro, Mars Veterinary Health sort of establishment.
Right.
So we've been doing a lot of training. It takes a lot of time. It costs a lot of money. I think
course.
in India, I don't think anyone else is doing the sort of training or the investment in training that we're doing. So I'm very passionate about that. I strongly believe that the veterinarians in India are great. It's just unfortunate that they haven't had access to this level of training.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is, you know, provide, you know, global standard training to our veterinarians. And I firmly believe that, you know, if we do it right, there's every possibility that we will have some of the best vets globally.
Right.
Like our human doctors, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
they are one of the best,
Yeah.
surgeons, etc.
Yeah.
It's because they've got access to training. They've traveled.
Yeah.
Whereas in India, you know, it's been quite sort of difficult to get out of. So from that aspect, training is important because at the end of the day, if you train our doctors well, then they're able to sort of, you know, roll out their knowledge and the medication as a result of that.
So in this training, again coming back to holistic and preventive care, so what do you do at Crown Vet, which is more holistic, more towards holistic and preventive?
I think it's about doing the basics properly. You know, we are really a first opinion practice. So we rely a lot on the tests that we do, and the results of those tests are what sort of guide the doctors
Right.
into creating a proper medical plan for the patient.
So when you said that you run blood work and you do for diagnostics also, is there a change in the sense of like from 2016 when you started to today? I know that there would have been a lot of pushback on, do we really need to do this? Is it really important? And to pet parents coming to you saying that, you know, I understand the process, and have pet parents got educated?
I think they have. A lot has changed in the last 10 years from every aspect, even the veterinarians. I mean, I remember 10 years ago, most of the veterinarians, I won't say most, sorry, some of the veterinarians actually might have wanted to go into the human side of medication, but they were not able to, and so they moved to this end. Today, the change in the veterinarian is that the young vets have always wanted to be a veterinarian. So, you know, that also sort of guides quality because they are more passionate about what they want to do.
Veterinarian as a career option is really opening out, and people are actually going for that more?
Absolutely. I mean, the salary packages today are really good. There are many new clinics that are opening up which provide all the facilities, which allows them to practice at a higher level. So all of those things are you know, happening. Earlier, a veterinary clinic used to be a small practice where the vet had to do everything, right? When you look at a veterinary clinic, it's not just about the doctor meeting the client. It's about ordering the medication. It's about, you know, rostering for the doctor's leaves. So a lot of the older...
It's an organization.
It's an organization, and a lot of the older practices, what doctors, where they suffered was that they didn't have the backup. So they were doing the reception work, they were doing the ordering process, they would do their marketing, they would do all these things that were required to run a business. As a result, and it was also so heavily sort of dependent on them that they really didn't have a life.
They were burning out.
They're burning out. Clients expect them to answer the phone at any given time.
Yeah, because
you know,
we are panicking at that point.
So it was a very tough profession actually to be in. But today, you know, in our organization, we have shift systems. We make sure that we don't share the doctor's personal numbers with any of the clients. We have a reception team. They can speak to the client. If your primary vet is not on duty, there will be another doctor. We have all the medical information on the software, so you know they can check up, etc. So what we are trying to do is we want to get the doctor in, you know, focus on his medical care side of things and take away all the other peripheral issues. And
so that they can focus on that. You know, in fact, in our last season, we had a vet who came in and he said that, and there was this lady from the Animal Welfare Board also, and both of them, what they told me, which shocked me, was there was very high rate of suicides among vets. Because they saw, yes, I was shocked by that. And it was also the burnout. They just would do so much, and they always felt it was not enough. There were still animals that were dying. There were, you know, the information, education of pet parents was not that much, and also the kind of cruelty they saw. Because they said, see, a lot of them, like he said, go into it because they love animals. So when they would see that, would get so disheartened, and that burnout, it was like, you know, that you need to be able to step away from it, which is what you're providing your vets now.
Absolutely.
And that's why the suicide rate was so high in them. I was shocked to hear it at that point.
Really alarming to hear. And I'm also sure as part of the training of being a vet, somewhere that emotional strength or that slight disconnection is something that must be ingrained, because...
Well, yes, but it's a very challenging environment. I mean, even me, I mean, we feel it sitting in the head office, you know, if something is wrong, there's a client upset, we all are trying to figure out what happened. So being at the clinic, you know, like you said, most people don't want to come to a clinic, right? They're there because, I mean, they have to be there. So it's already a sort of emotionally charged sort of atmosphere. Everyone's sort of, you know, nervous and anxious. So it's a tough environment actually to work in.
For people who do a lot of fostering and helping, and there are so many people who very selflessly are providing financial care and actual care for a lot of stray dogs, street dogs especially.
You know, Shriya, what happens is a lot of people doing very good work, but it's not enough because there's so many strays, just the numbers are very, very high.
No, I agree. What I'm trying to say is that for these people, several times going to the bigger clinics is not always feasible because there aren't enough
I think
funds.
Crown Vet also has certain
that's what I wanted to ask you
that
actually.
they do, and they do support that to
I was curious to know about that.
So we have policies, for example, if you are with a stray or you're, either adopted or treating strays, we have a special discount structure for that.
Nice.
As a family as well, we have a animal welfare trust named in my mother's name, Princess Asha Raje Gaekwad Animal Welfare Trust. If I can
Lovely.
get it right.
Lovely.
So,
Have you taken Jack to the vet yourself?
Of course I have.
Has it changed your relationship with him?
Of course, and the day I did that was the day my mother said that I'm doing everything for Jack. You guys just enjoy time with him,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm the one who's actually doing everything.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I'm going to take him to the vet next time. It was so interesting and a little scary for me because you're seeing so many different animals there, and to handle him
Yeah.
at the vet is another process. But like Sir also said, that you have to keep your emotions slightly steady, especially when you're at the vet. But it was very educational for me, especially, to see how they weigh the dogs and the way they're lifted up, comforted. There's such a procedure that's gentle,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they know what they're doing.
Firm.
And yeah, firm. And I think it's best to, at that point, not be the kind of pet parent who's interfering or ye mat karo, wo mat karo, because
Yeah.
you have to trust the doctors
Yeah.
to do what
Yeah.
they know best. But he is constantly looking at me.
Yes.
His gaze doesn't shift, and
Because
I
they're like,
just-
am I safe? Are
Yeah.
you okay with
Right.
it? And
So
if
I
you're
just want to
okay and
comfort
calm,
him.
he will calm down.
absolutely. So
Yeah,
I
he's,
just,
he knows you're talking about him.
That's
he
why.
wants to be here. Yeah.
the minute I'm talking about Jack, he's like going.
Yeah. So, how did it change your relationship with him?
It's a huge responsibility
Yeah.
when you have a dog or
It's
any
different
pet.
when you just foster, and it's different when you actually.
Completely. And I also think it's unfair that when you bring a pet into the house, all of the responsibility can't be on one person.
Yeah.
Of course, my mother is the absolute best when it comes to being a mom to Jack. But I've also taken that initiative to learn how to give him medicines, because there's a way you give capsules now that I'm actively involved in his health.
Right.
Because earlier I would be like, oh, bichara, he's coming, we're eating, let me give him something. Now I've
And
stopped
move on.
that.
But once you handle his
Yes.
health, you feel even more responsible.
Absolutely, and I was extremely traumatized when Hobo, my first dog, passed away, because I was there in the clinic when we took him for the operation, and then when he came out, he actually didn't die because of the tumor, he died because of blood loss. And we were trying to get blood through a blood bank, but that was not possible last
Do
minute.
you have a blood bank?
no, we don't have a blood bank, but we have an active list of clients who have sort of offered that whenever there is a blood
Yeah.
requirement, that they bring their pets in for that.
Oh, so if we ever need blood, and if we get in touch with the Crown Vet, we can kind of have
Absolutely,
it.
yeah.
You could help us
Sure,
with
we
that.
could definitely,
So that's a
yeah.
very, very important point to know, because there's so
Absolutely.
many times what you said is so true.
Yeah.
So many times when it's just the blood that's needed, and to get that message across,
Yeah.
though we have social media now and messages do fly faster, but still by the time you get the animal across, and but there's so many
Yeah.
complications. You need to have a vehicle. Ubers are beginning to take them in, but there's just the infrastructure around moving an animal from home to the clinic is just not that simple. So yeah.
Not at all. And actually, to one of the points of your previous question, that when you take your dog to the vet, you also have to be really calm, because he is so anxious,
Yeah.
and generally all the dogs there are barking at each other. It's like such an anxiety-laden space.
So, but I want to know that what happens when you are doing a very emotional role and you carry it home a bit. We all do a little bit. Yeah.
Yes.
What happens? Does Jack feel it, or does he help you deal with it? What is that equation like as an actor, as a creative person, when you carry those emotions with you? Does he sense
Honestly,
them?
Oh, Jack 100% senses what I'm going through. And in fact, I don't know if it's true, but I read that dogs sometimes, they take that energy. They comfort you when they sense that space. And
I believe in it.
I believe in it too, and especially because we're always cuddled up together in the night. I feel like he's the one person who, without saying anything, has sensed everything. I don't need to say anything to him.
Yeah.
I've cried hugging him, I've spoken to him, I've communicated with him in the most beautiful, spiritual way. Sometimes I'll just whisper things in his ear. like please live long and healthy. But yes, I just think it's such a beautiful, pure relationship, and it's so unconditional.
That's true.
It's just
but
so
you know, the
unconditional.
most beautiful thing that you said that you whisper in is live long and
But
healthy.
healthy, not
and
just
that
long for
health
the
is
sake
what
of it.
we like, you know, is the important thing that we come to.
Yeah.
And we find, again, like we said, you know, vaccinations. A lot of people say that, do we really need to vaccinate dogs? You know, they're not really important. Deworming. How important are these things? These are part of preventive you would talk about?
Absolutely. I think they're very, very important. I mean, you must vaccinate regularly, stick to the schedule. Deworming is very important. There's so many parasites, etc. You know, you don't want those in the system.
Does Crown Vet send you a reminder that you're due for a vaccination or for deworming?
Yes, we do. Yeah. So
Lovely, thank you.
So we do that. You know, apart from these, there is neutering your pet. That's important.
How important is neutering?
Yeah.
There's so many myths about
Correct.
neutering.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is important. There is a lot of information going around, but it is important. There are a lot of long-term illnesses that could be avoided. Cancer being one.
If not
hernias, if not
neutered.
neutered. I won't say it reduces it to zero, but it definitely reduces the risk by quite a substantial percentage. So neutering is important. Dentals, right? Extremely, extremely important.
They are very difficult, the dentals. They need to be put under to do the dental work. And after a point, like with Icy now when she's older, just putting her under is not something I'm so comfortable with. So then the thing is that, should I put her under and get the dental work done, or, you know, she is 11 and a half, let it be.
What kind of dental work are we talking about?
You need to get the plaque removed, and all, exactly like what we need to do. Am I right in that?
I mean, if the teeth are not bad, then it's a basic scale and polish is what they call it, which is just sort of a plaque removal.
But
And you know,
that's
it just-
necessary to do it at the vet, or can we do it with a brush?
No,
No.
it doesn't come out with the brush. It has to be done at the vet. It can really help with a lot of mouth infections, and as they grow older, when you're not really so confident about putting them under, and will they be able to handle it, but by then they are not suffering and not eating enough and all because their teeth are rotting. So you're giving them a sort of a heads up or a health benefit, you know, for their later years.
I mean, you must clean your pet's teeth when they're at a younger age and keep the mouth as clean as possible. But after a couple of years, maybe 2 years, and depending on what the vet sees, you know, he or she would advise you to do a dental.
Yes, dental health, of course, as we spoke about, but neutering also. I do want to know more about neutering.
Yeah, I think it's good to have your pet neutered. I mean, even from a behavioral point of view is one aspect, but like I mentioned, you know, there are ailments in future which you could reduce the risk of quite significantly. So definitely would advise that. And I think neutering people are more aware of.
So how early can you neuter a dog?
I think ideally maybe about 2 years old.
2 years old.
Yeah, approximately
Because
that
before
age.
that, I think their hormones are still forming. And
Yeah, not
so
when
there's
they're
a
too
lot
young.
of myth about some people say, oh, the earlier the better. But is it really that? How early can you actually do it?
Again, I think you should go by the advice of your vet, your local doctor. But I think anyway, any age, maybe after a year and a half to 2 years, is a fair
Has
time
Jack
to do
been
it.
neutered?
Yes. In fact, I took him, it was me, it was just like mom also wasn't around, and it was really scary at that point. But he recovered really well, and touch wood, he's not had any post neutering issues.
What about this? They say that, oh, they'll start putting on weight.
Yes.
Did Jack put on weight after that?
No, but also we've made sure that his workouts
A good diet
good.
is good.
Diet
That's
is
what
good,
I did
walking
with
is
Icy
good.
also.
Yeah.
Once she was spayed, neutered, whatever you would say.
I'm actually curious to know, what do you think is the one issue for dogs that's been a pressing issue for a very long time that hasn't had a breakthrough yet, but it's important in the vet world?
It's a good question. Difficult to answer. But
Personally for you, if you think there's something.
I think they're quite on top of things today. I mean, there is a lot of knowledge which is available. So I think there is a lot of stuff that's happening. But at the end of the day, one has to also understand that they have a lifespan of so much. and they will be sort of affected through certain things in life. But I think more or less there is stuff there for treatment that's available.
So because he's used to having ghar ka khana,
Because he was in all these homes and that's what he was getting.
yeah, he was just foster to foster. He is allergic to chicken, but besides that, simple non-masala khichdi and mutton broth. But dog food, he's not used to having.
To
So
kibble, you
he's
mean,
not used to
actually.
having.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he never took to kibble?
He never took to kibble. We tried to give it to him.
Yeah.
So Chevy was on home food for a long time as well. So we used to give him chicken with chicken broth and some chapatis and vegetables sort of mixed into that. So that was his diet for a long time. Then obviously as he became a senior dog, then he did go on some sort of vet prescribed diets.
Right.
It did take him a bit of time to adjust to some of those, but those were needed because it gave him the right ingredients.
Because as they grow older, there are certain minerals and vitamins that you just can't provide in all the food, is what I've understood of it. Did you know that dogs have unique physical characteristics like 3 eyelets and a nose print that is as unique as a human fingerprint? What next in Crown Vet? What is your vision for Crown Vet in the coming years?
I mean, the idea is to sort of scale the business, so to roll out these clinics around India. We already have clinics in 5 of the large metro cities, so we have a presence in Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad. So it's really to sort of grow the network that we're working on. But it's challenging, it's going to take time, and as
What
a
are the challenges?
challenges are, you know, recruiting good quality vets, to train veterinarians. I mean, for us to roll out a clinic is the easiest thing. I mean, from the time we get a property, we can have a clinic running in 40 days.
Okay.
But there's no point sort of starting a clinic where one is not confident of the team that's going to run it. So it's really, therefore, you know, the training aspect that we are investing in is really something that is going to play a big role in how successful we are or we are not in our ability to roll these out.
So when you say training, that's education, and you said that the education that the vets get in India is more animal husbandry. There's no specialization for pets, you think? Do you think you can fill that gap in the education?
I wouldn't say we can fill the gap in the education, but definitely to sort of get them acclimatized to private practice is what we do, because again, you know, as we were mentioning, conversation and communication, really the word is communication.
Right.
That's trust and communication are the 2 sort of pillars of how you can run a successful practice. If you can't have these 2, then, you know, no matter what you do, it's not going to succeed. A lot of the vets that we have also come from smaller towns. Right. So for them to come into large metros, you know, they're suddenly faced with clients who are CEOs, who are, you know, in politicians.
They get intimidated.
They're very intimidating. So, you know, therefore to get them sort of acclimatized to this, for them to have the confidence, and one should not forget, these are the people who have worked, who have trained, who have educated themselves to be a doctor. Many times we think we know more than them, you know, so one should not fall into that trap.
Absolutely true. I think the imagination is going with this thing, but I would say that maybe this is something I'm sure all the other vets face also. So maybe Crown Vet should come out with a little diploma course kind of a thing, like a month-long thing, that all the vets who do their education, as in get their degrees and kind of get trained for this communication zone. A lot of corporates do it, don't they? They train their people in leadership qualities and, you know, communications and stuff like that. So maybe this is not a bad idea at all.
So one of the things that we are working on is to start our own teaching hospital.
See?
So that is something in the pipeline.
What a lovely thing.
Yeah.
Where would this be?
Most probably we'll start from Mumbai,
Okay.
because obviously one is closer to it, so to keep an eye on it. At the end of the day, it's nothing different from another running clinic, because you can't train unless you have patients coming through your doors. You know, so you need to. It's a clinic by all other terms of the definition, but obviously we'll have senior veterinarians focused on sort of certain skill sets, certain knowledge that they have to pass through to the veterinarians who are going through this sort of training. So it's quite a structured program.
Adding to that, what would also be interesting from a pet parent point of view is also the way we have first aid training, basic first aid training.
Yeah.
First aid training for
pet parents.
Because so many times you see an accident on the road, a dog is hurt, you panic in the moment, right?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
we know how to go about it because we've had dogs for a long time, but many people who want to help
No, I
don't
don't know about it. I would love to
So
know.
it would be so interesting to
like
understand.
a week-long thing or something that
Yes.
pet parents could come for, so they have.
Until you take the dog to the hospital or
Yeah.
to a doctor.
This is a suggestion. If Crown Vet can give this to us, we are interested in this kind of a course.
Right.
But like you said, when you spoke about training, usually you see that there is no like kind of a nursing, right, where pets are concerned.
Yeah.
There are doctors and then there are like the boys who are helping you pick them up and all, but they are not nurses.
That's a very good point that you raised. Nursing is a very, very important part of veterinary care. In fact, globally, if you go to any clinic, the nurses play a huge role in supporting the veterinarians, because
Right.
they're the ones who technically then are doing the blood tests, who are able to position the pet properly to do an X-ray and things like
Right.
that. In India, we don't have the official term as nurses, but we call them vet techs,
Okay.
veterinary technicians. So again, we run internally training programs for our veterinary technicians.
Also.
So yeah, so it starts with, as you were mentioning earlier, the animal handling. There's a way to hold
them.
a pet properly, so that then they don't feel like they're sort of struggling, etc. To carry out maybe even a nail clip, for example,
Yeah.
small
Yeah.
thing like that. But if you hold it well, then earlier, it could be 4 people trying to hold down your
Yes,
pet.
of course,
So it
and
can
it's
be
torture.
it can be difficult for everyone
Yeah.
concerned. So it's the small things, but they play a very, very important role in a veterinary practice.
Post-pandemic, a lot of people have adopted and got pets, and the whole culture
Yeah.
is growing in India also. And you
Yeah.
said you're in the big metro cities. Definitely in the second-tier cities, we are seeing so much of growth of
Yeah.
pet parents and younger couples adopting and bringing in fur babies. So there is a whole scope for growth over there. So this, I think, is a great career option, not an alternate to, we didn't get into medicine,
Yeah.
but a great career option, not just as doctors, but also as vet techs, as you said.
Absolutely.
In smaller towns as well, I would imagine,
Yes,
because
absolutely.
a lot of people are doing incredible work at the ground level, and then they post it on social media. So I follow
Yeah.
a lot of these pages that
Yeah.
are doing excellent work.
Yeah.
Have literally built shelters to
Yeah.
take care of cows and
Yeah.
dogs and horses.
Yes.
It's really inspiring that without, say, the best facilities available, they're
No, but
still
a lot of these vet techs could also be volunteering at shelters, and it would be so much
Exactly,
better. Because at
exactly.
shelters also they struggle with getting,
Yeah.
you can love an animal and want to do something, but being trained to do it makes a huge difference. And so for cause for pet parents also, because when we volunteer, it's great to know that little bit. So that volunteering can also be much more meaningful for us.
So I think doing a nursing skill training would actually be the ideal thing to do,
Interesting.
rather than get into something which is a doctor based. I
Yeah,
think a
yeah, yeah.
nursing sort of training would definitely be the right thing.
for us to be better at handling.
Yeah, yeah.
So what are the new innovations in global vet care, in veterinary care globally? Are there something new things? Because, Crown Vet, I would say, is one of those very technologically savvy place. Software is used and you can. So what are those kind of new global innovations in veterinary care that you're using in Crown Vet, or you want to use and you've heard of, and, we would love to know about?
Again, for us, it's still about doing the basics well.
Get the practice right.
Yeah, and do it properly. There are in India today guys who are specializing. So we also work on a referral system. If you bring your pet in and they have something which we are not able to provide, we don't pretend that we can do it.
Correct.
We will refer the case to somebody that we know, who we trust ourselves, and who is specialized at this.
Right.
So whether it is an eye issue, whether it is something cancer related, whether it is a very high-end surgery, which we might not be able to do.
Right.
We are more than happy to refer that case out rather than try and pretend that we can do it.
How many of these kind of specialized places are there in India? Do you think Crown Vet will also start creating some more specialized clinics of their own?
I wouldn't say specialized clinics, but we do have a plan to have a specialist in every territory. So for example, Mumbai, there must be someone who can do a much advanced level of surgery. There must be a medicine doctor who can do medicine and diagnostics, imaging at a high level, so that, you know, we could refer from clinic to clinic.
Right.
As well. So that's going forward, but until we have it, we are more than happy to refer it to somebody else who has
Right.
that speciality.
Yeah, yeah. Good to know for us as pet parents. And
Absolutely.
Yeah. Shriya, you mentioned a lot of times that you have fostered or you've gone to shelters, you worked at shelters, you volunteered volunteered at shelters. What would you advise people who, when you have these adopt-a-thons or whatever, how they're called, and go get that pet because it's so cute, and then that puppy is not so cute anymore after some time because he's chewing things and it's a lot of responsibility. What would your suggestion be to people who want to adopt?
I would say adoption is a responsibility, and beyond, oh my God, I have such a cute dog or such a cute cat, there is a lot of care, attentiveness that's required. So do it only if you're ready for that responsibility.
How do you understand if you're ready for that or not?
I would say if you do understand in a way, and I also feel like some
Maybe you
people
think they
do
could
it.
foster for a night or 2
So
nights.
the best way to do it actually is to first foster and understand, especially if you've never had a dog before.
Correct.
For me, the most difficult part of fostering was I would get so emotionally attached. I would be crying when it would come to giving the dog
to the
away.
permanent
I mean, I
home.
would be very happy.
Yeah, that they
that
have found
they
a
found a
permanent
home.
home, but yeah.
And interestingly, I read this somewhere that black female dogs are the most abandoned and the most neglected.
Really?
Yes, they are not easily adopted, or a lot of the times they are abandoned.
Guys, if
And
you know something about this, then I
It
want to
would
know
be
more about
interesting.
this.
Yes,
Is this
yes.
true? I want to know
would be
more.
curious to read more also. So when I heard that, and this was at an adopt-a-thon where they were, you know, talking, and these are people who do so much of the
Correct,
work
yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
They're aware of
Yeah.
what the stats are, or what kind of dogs are being abandoned. I've never had a female before, so
Yeah.
it would be also amazing to have a female
Yes.
next time around. And the reason why I like to go to these adoption camps is also to learn more, to also take people with me who would be keen. And now that I have an indie,
Yeah.
I would want to support indies as much as possible, because a lot of
Yeah.
people, of course, prefer, but also there's no shame attached to getting a breed dog. I think a lot
No,
of
absolutely.
people also tend to do this. So there's no point being extreme. Get
Whatever
whatever you
works
connect
for you.
Whatever you connect with. I'm also very particular about this awareness of like illegal breeding that goes on sometimes in several places, and to sort of call those people out, because shamelessly a lot of people have been indulging in
They do.
wrong
That's a
breeding.
practice that, you know, as animal lovers we all face, and especially when you have had dogs that have been purebred, it's a challenge to look and find ethical breeders.
Right.
And because, you know, every breed has its own beauty, and they're there for a reason, and you know, they could go extinct also. But again, like I said, everybody's family is different and needs are different. For me, I would say IC came in for my son, and he was an only child, and I really wanted him to have a sibling, so that I wanted a boy who would be empathetic, who would be compassionate, who would understand what it was like to, you know, take care and share. And at that point of time, and I wanted my son to fall in love with having pets and animals. And if I would have got, sometimes you can, when you adopt, you can get animals with a lot of trauma that you don't know about. I'm not saying that
Absolutely.
that cannot be dealt with, but you need to have that kind of time, patience and place to be able
Yes.
to give that
Yes.
time to that pet. And sometimes you just don't have that kind of bandwidth at that point of time.
Fair enough.
So I am in
Absolutely.
future looking at doing a lot more on that, but I definitely love my pure breeds also. So I'm definitely
but
for all sorts of
that's
animals.
what
I'm
saying,
not
because
into.
often I see that people can also be very aggressive and shame people who have breed
Yeah,
dogs,
that's
and I
extreme.
think
That
that's
I
too
really don't
extreme.
understand.
That is
yeah.
too extreme.
I think they're all animals and they all need to be loved, and we all agree
Completely.
that yes, if it is they're being bred unethically, that needs to be called out, definitely. But it's love. While we're talking about that, you spoke about Hobo and the loss. How did you deal with the loss of Hobo?
I think we're still dealing with it. Shattering. It breaks you. It.
A lot of time people say that, oh, I lost a pet, I'm never going to have a
I
pet
know.
again.
I know. And
Would you say that's what they should do, or say that no, just open your heart out to another one?
I mean, of course, that grief, I will not judge how people deal with that grief, because having a dog is like, it's your child.
Yeah.
He or she is your child.
Yeah.
And Hobo passed away in my lap. Literally, we saw him take his last breath. We were not ready to immediately get another dog. But as I said, after fostering, we didn't know what to do with all
that
that
love that
and
was-
I need to have my daily dose of baby talking, puppy talking with Jack. I can't survive until I'm doing my wujoo wujoo. I need
Yeah,
it. That
yeah,
de-stresses me.
yeah.
So I think we took about 4-5 years until we felt like, you know what, let's.
Okay, we are
need
ready
get,
to have.
We need to get Jack, but it's always going to be painful, and honestly there are days where I just get emotional thinking about how life will be when Jack won't be around. But the prayer is always, whatever it is, he should be in good health, because I've seen dogs who, as they age, their health deteriorates to
Yeah.
such a bad extent that my prayer is always ki bas healthy rehna chahiye.
Yeah.
I don't want to determine. So that's what I mean when I whisper in his ears.
Yeah.
I whisper in Jack's ear saying, I want you to live long but healthy.
No, but that, like today's episode, what we're talking about is this regular vet visits, the
Yes.
dental work, the neutering and vaccinations, deworming. It's all going to lead to
Yeah.
a quality of life in senior dogs, you know, but it needs to start from puppy time.
In fact, you know, this time we were almost tempted to, when we got Jack, we were tempted to adopt another one, because
Yeah,
when
but
you're that younger, you
They're
can get
companions. It's a great
companions.
idea, yeah.
However, when we saw him, we said, no, this one guy is going to be enough for us to handle.
Yeah,
Let
but
him
you
run
know, like
around.
we talk about all this preventive health and vaccinations and doctors' visits. In Mumbai, you have to take a pet to a clinic, you know, it's a process. Unless you have your car or something like that.
Appointments.
No, appointments you might still get, but you know, for a regular person, you will meet 5 rickshaws who will say, no, we are not taking, or Ubers who are saying, oh, we won't take a dog. It's a challenge to take them to, when it's an emergency and you need to take, you have to go through it.
Yeah.
But there are times when a consult doesn't have to be in person always. Sometimes it can just be, you know, over a phone, and sometimes, or like a virtual consult. And when I was going through the page, and I realized that Crown Vet is coming up with a lot of virtual consults also. Can you tell us a little more about it? Because especially in this city, it's a very, very important thing for
so
us.
we have the virtual consult. I would say it's almost like a teleconsult,
Okay.
where you can sort of call in and speak with the doctor. There is a switchboard and they organize the appointment. Obviously, the advantage is that you could be anywhere in India and have this conversation with one of our doctors. And the importance of this conversation, I mean, there are two ways of it. One is obviously that, you know, we have a whole list of good doctors who are there in our clinics. They're not always busy. You know, there are times when their appointment slots are free.
Right.
So we use that opportunity to say that, you know, you can use these slots to have these conversations,
consults.
virtual
Interesting.
conversations.
Yeah.
So there's a proper doctor who's there. They do a thorough conversation, and obviously they circulate the email after that and all, and that conversation can take place.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it could never replace a thorough physical check.
Of course.
So, I just want to put that caveat out there, that while it is something that is, it could help out, and you could have that time with the doctor.
Yeah. So at the I think we're coming to we've had a long conversation. I can continue this conversation, but I think there are a few takeaways that we will remind you for Crown Vet to do. One is training and the filling the gap, having vet tech and all of that training for pet parents, so that we can do the first aid and that small courses for us, and much more on the virtual consult, because so many times it can just be a small infection or something, and you don't really have to get the dog all the way there. And you can start off with something and then figure out the way to bring. So it can make life easier for so many people. So these are our reminders to you that please, as pet parents, we would love if Crown Vet can provide us with this as time goes by.
And it's wonderful
Done.
that Crown Vet has done
That's,
such lovely work.
Marshmallow.
Oh my God, look who's come.
Hi, puppy. Icy, we love you also. Icy's immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi. Oh, can you imagine? Jack, Marshmallow and Icy would have gone crazy.
Hi, Marshmallow. How are you?
Uh-uh.
Hi, sweetie.
He's a
Icy,
bit-
Are they okay?
gentle.
Well, he's a bit
Bitey.
yeah, he's-
These little
See,
dogs,
They're very
they are
feisty.
very feisty.
Her tail is a happy.
Icy is such a swan, na? One graceful. Hi, Papu, Popu.
So before we end the episode, I'm so happy that Marshmallow has come and we can see, we get to meet him too. Hi, Marshy.
You know what, Sonali? I realized that we
Oh,
think
he's so cute.
he's such a
Just look at him.
marshmallow.
Oh my God, he's so cute.
I realized that we think we take care of dogs, but actually dogs take care of us.
That's true. Come here, my
They're the
baby.
angels that come
They
into our
are the
lives.
angels,
You're my
and they
angel.
choose us.
I love
feel
you
like
the
they
most.
choose us.
I
I'm
love
missing
you
Jack
the
now.
most.
Jack
Yeah.
ko kyun ghar bhej diya?
But let's do this. So guys, as you can see, we're joined by more pets, and we really want to spend time with them now. So thanks for tuning into this episode of the Happy Podcast. If you had as much fun listening as we did creating it, help us spread the positive vibes even further. We've got plenty more tail wagging episodes coming your way. So stay tuned, stay kind, and maybe sneak in an extra treat for your furry friend today. Catch more awesome content on our YouTube channel Rosepod and on Instagram at the Happy Podcast. Until next time, keep those tails wagging and those hearts smiling.